With the trade deadline officially 1 week away and the Vancouver Canucks entering a rebuild, I'm just going to say tanking for the season because we don't know how it's going to go after. The Canucks have to make some moves. Unlike last season where they kind of just stood pat, they traded away, it was like Carson Soucy, and that was about it. They got to make some moves. They got to get rid of the UFAs, and they could get rid of some guys with term. So today, I'm going to go over which Vancouver Canucks I think are going to get traded and what for. I'm not going to guess the teams. I apologize. I just did not have enough time to research exactly every NHL team that's in the playoffs or close to buying and go through their depth charts to pick which players can go where. I really wish I could have. I apologize. School has been taking up a lot of my time, so didn't have enough time. But let's get right into it. Starting off with Tyler Myers. Now, going into this trade deadline, I didn't really expect Tyler Myers to be moved, and there's been some rumblings. Now, I don't want to go through them and say that this is like reporting news. The way I want to go through this deadline, this right now, is just say concrete stuff. The only concrete things we know about the potential Tyler Myers move is he was held out of the lineup due to roster reasons, and Dollywall reported that it is trade talks. We've also heard that it's possibly Detroit that's making the big push, and that he doesn't want to go there. So it looks like the Tyler Myers trade will be put on the back burner for now, potentially probably not happening at all, but if he does go, I expect him to go for at least a third and maybe a third and a fourth. So Tyler Myers right now, I think we'll get a third round pick, and this is me trying to bring my hopes down a little bit, not trying to overvalue players. I think a third and a fourth is good. In a world, he could possibly get a second round pick. He's a right shot 36-year-old defenseman who's big. He's built for the playoffs. I could see that happening, but realistically, I'm going to say a third and a fourth, and just lower my expectations a little bit, and hopefully he gets traded for more. I think that's a very realistic package for a guy like Tyler Myers, especially being a bottom pair right-handed defenseman. Right-handed defensemen are very valuable. He's big. He will help a team out in the playoffs. I feel like his value gets inflated around the deadline for a team that will probably make a push to make a trade for Tyler Myers. And for it to even be considered, I think there has to be insane value because he could be a very good leader in the future for the next 2 seasons for the Vancouver Canucks. With all these young D-men coming up, we got Boyum, DPD, Mancini, and Vilander, who are all already up in the NHL. Mancini flip-flops, but we trade Myers, it opens up a spot, but yet again, he wouldn't be there to lead him. But yeah. Third and a fourth for Myers, I really think that's appropriate. A second round pick, I like it. Teddy Blueger. Now, although a lot of people are inflating his value due to his recent performance, and I honestly think that it could possibly net him a little bit more than what I'm about to say I think we can get for him. I've been hearing second round picks thrown as I think that's overvalued a little bit. Although Teddy Blueger has been scoring at an insane clip this season, I still think that he's still just a depth center who can provide some offense, but really is a good shutdown, makes the right play kind of guy. I'd say a third round pick, and I wouldn't be upset about it. If they got a third round pick for Teddy Blueger for this year, it sets that spot because we're missing our third round pick. It fills the spot, the little gap that we have. Or if we get a third round pick for next year, that's totally fine. We already have another second for next year. Add another third. I'd like it. You don't have to go all in on one draft. If they end up moving draft picks, later round picks, and it's for not this upcoming draft, but the next draft, totally fine. But yeah. Also, if they start doing that, it gives me a little bit more hope that it actually is a rebuild because they're willing to spread out assets in the draft. If they really just go all in on this draft, 1, that's insane. 2, it's not a rebuild. You got to spread your assets out. So yeah, also why you can't trade everyone at once, because if you just get a bunch of first round picks for one draft, not all of them are going to hit, and they're all going to be coming in around the same time. You need a consistent spread of prospects. Next up, Evander Kane. I really don't know what his value is. I feel like I'm 90% of me feels like if Evander Kane is going to get traded, probably would have happened by now if we got the value. I'm going to say he's going to get traded for a 4th round pick, even with retention. Has he been great? No, by no means. I did look at a lot of the wingers and center wingers available in his price range in free agency. He is outscoring some of them. I think I have the sheet right here. I'm hoping that that is on here. I apologize if it isn't. It is not. I apologize. I did do that at one point. I just don't have the paper on me. Yeah, Evander Kane, he was scoring higher, but it's just by a little bit. I think it was like Jonathan Drouin who had more points than him. Just get a 4th for him. If we just get asset return, we have to retain some salary. The retained salary is going to expire on July 1st anyway. I don't mind it. Just get at least a 4th back for him. If we get a 5th back for him, then you can look at this management and be like, what was the point of that trade? David Kampf. So all the UFAs I want to get rid of except for Derek Forbort. I think he's out for the season is what I'm hearing. So yeah, can't really trade a guy who's not going to play. So David Kampf, for me, if you were going to trade him for anything, do it. If no one's willing to trade for him, just keep him. There's no harm in keeping him. He's a UFA. His deal expires if he wants to move on in the offseason. It's not like we're going to be missing a big, valuable asset losing him. It's kind of, I feel like at my stage, a 6th, maybe a 5th for David Kampf. I feel like I might be underrating him a little bit. I'm not sure, but if you can get something for him, pull the trigger. If you can't, it's totally fine keeping him. I get asset management to the point to where even if it's like a Connor Garland or like a Brock Besser, if Brock Besser did leave in the offseason and we didn't trade him at the trade deadline, that's horrible. You could have got a 2nd at least. And that's being able to retain assets for a guy that would have left in the offseason. David Kampf is such minimal value, it doesn't really matter. I understand wanting to be the team that goes out and is able to get assets for as many players as possible. But when it's like a guy like David Kampf, who's like, I would say fringe 4th liner, and he leaves in the offseason, I'm not really complaining. Last but not least, for my predictions, I will go over a couple more players who could possibly get traded, but this is the last player I think has an actual possibility of getting traded. But I will say, I'm going to give him, could be traded from now to the deadline to maybe later. In the off-season, it'll be a little easier to do it before July 1st, and that is Connor Garland. His no movement clause doesn't kick in until July 1st. The Canucks I've heard they didn't have interest in trading him. I'm assuming what they've been seeing in terms of packages being offered is what's turning them around a little bit, because that's what I've been hearing, that they're turning around a little bit on potentially trading Connor Garland. By the way, I have no sources. This is all me trying to do as much research as possible, and I'm trying to like weed out all the stuff that I see that I think I would take with a grain of salt. So I'm trying to say all the stuff that I think is legit. But yeah, Connor Garland, it seems like the Canucks didn't want to move him. They're turning around on it a little bit, and the only reason I feel like he would turn around on it a little bit is if Garland is willing to go. I understand he doesn't have his no movement clause yet, but like if he's like, no, I signed this contract to stay, and you trade him before that no movement clause kicks in, you know what I mean? But if it was like, oh, I'm willing to move, I don't really want to go through a rebuild process, and I'm willing to stick with that contract, then you can trade him. I'm assuming he gets a 2nd plus. That's what I'm going to say. Maybe a little undervalued. In my franchise mode, I think I sent some assets with him, but I got like the 8th overall pick, which is insane. That's not what Connor Garland is valued at, but the game let me do it, so I did it. A 2nd plus, I would be happy with it. The term is what probably would turn me off if I was a team a little bit, being a 6-year with, I don't think there's a full no move, but there's some no movement attached to it. I think it's like 2 or 3 years. 3 seasons of a no move, I'm 90% sure. So I would be turned off of it a little bit, especially with his age, how long the contract is, but you get a little bit more flexibility at the end to potentially move it if you have to. If it fits like a 3-year window, I would do it, and then you can open up to, potentially dumping his contract near the end or something like that. But yeah, second plus for Connor Garland, I think that's fair. All right, now to go over some players that could possibly be traded, but they have clauses, so I'm iffy on whether or not they would get moved. Jake DeBrusk, I would put him in the same value bracket as Garland, and the no move is really what hinders that. Elias Pettersson, if a team needs a center and the Canucks get an offer that they're willing to take without retention, I could totally see it happening, but he can say where he wants to go. Brock Besser, that's another one. I've heard the Canucks are open to trading him, but yet again, the no movement clause kind of hinders it. That's really about it. I would say Marcus Pettersson and Phil Peronic as well, same thing. No movement kind of hinders it. They signed way too many no movement clauses. Apologies, I did also forget Lankinen and Demko. With Demko being shut down for the year, I don't see a team trading for him now. Maybe in the offseason, but I also doubt it with how he wants to stay in Vancouver. And I feel like it would be a betrayal to the player unless he opens up to a potential trade. Kevin Lankinen as well, if he wants to go get a starter job elsewhere and is willing to move, I feel like he can, but the no movement clause does hinder it. But without further ado, that is it for this one. I set a goal to try to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this regular season. So if you're a Canucks fan, hit that subscribe button. Leave a like and let me know what you thought down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I undervalued some players? Do you think I overvalued some players? Let me know in the comments below. Without further ado, the video on your right is the video from Wednesday. The video on your left is the video from Monday. Subscribe right down under there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.